I want to start by saying that Haida Gwaii is the land of my great-grandfather, my father's father. My mother was an English woman, and she was adopted by Samoyed Gitxaala from Gitxaala. And being a matriarchal society, I actually don't have a place here in Haida Gwaii culturally. Some people will say yet, because the only way that I would have a place here in society would be, in traditional society, would be through adoption. I'm grateful to the Creator for the healing that I've experienced in my life and continue to experience. In Gitxaala, we say Samoyed Dimlacha, Chief of the Heavens. I'd like to start by reading a poem that I wrote 15 years ago when I met Leanne and Edward in Prince Rupert. I was working on my doctoral dissertation at the time. And my dissertation really is about my quest, my inquiry, and what does it mean to be an Indian? And where I grew up was in up the Skeena River from Prince Rupert in Gitxaala territory in a place called 2 Mile, because it's 2 miles from Hazelton. And the land there was medicine for me as a child. And it's taken me some time to realize how important the land is. So this poem is about me owning the goodness. Peradventure, I was born from the Sodom and Gomorrah of my country's greed, the burning accumulation of my country's greed, the consummated degradation of my country's greed. I was nursed on the salt breast of Lot's wife of my people's suffering, suckled on the nipple of agony of my people's suffering, gazed into the salty, hollow eyes of my people's suffering. I was raised in the fire of destruction with my ancestors' blood on my hands and my feet, breathed the smoke of corruption, devastation, and deception with my ancestors' blood on my hands and my feet, cried in the corners of the nation's darkness with my ancestors' blood on my hands and my feet. I was raped, then married to colonial oppression, split in two by the principles of hatred, bore the offspring of victimhood, split in two by the principles of hatred, fed the household of internalized injustice, split in two by the principles of my country's hatred. In my broken, raging, twisted, damned emptiness, my exile to the margins of your unconsciousness, my imprisonment to your broad ignorance, my enslavement to your single-eyed bigotry, my alienation to your kindness, I fell down to the bottom. Abraham's angels found me. I was born from the northwest coast, where gale force winds whip tree-long canoes on crests of thunder, where mariners wore cedar bark hats, where mile-high waves searched sea travelers' souls, where sun-scorched brown skins met reflections of courage, journeying to distances unknown. I was nursed on the breast of tenderness, on sweet milk from berries picked, caressed with the soft, worn hands of root diggers, bark peelers, medicine makers, rocked to the songs of stillness, quietness, gentleness, carried near the beating, pounding heart of courage, lovingly wrapped on the back of the women. I was raised by the heart of the hunter, whose eyes could bring down a seal, sea lion, deer, goose, near the shovel of a clam digger, canoe carver, mass dancer, by the hand of the halibut hook fishnet, fish trap maker, to the drumbeat of the noch dancer, in safety, led by the steps of the warrior men. I am married to the principles of the Ayao. I bore children from lineage that stretches to the morning star. I feed the household of warriors of peace, wisdom weavers, soul retrievers, creation speakers. I keep the fire in the house of the ancients, eat at the table with the family born from Raven's light, rest in the village on the Northwest coast.
It was beautiful.
In 2006, while doing the research, I was interviewing the fluent speakers from Gitxaala. And while I was there, I learned, because I'd gone to therapy with a family member, I remembered some incest from childhood, but when I went to therapy, there were huge pieces given to me. And it was disturbing, and at the same time, there was this gratitude inside of me. I was looking at the culture and through eyes of growing up with alcoholism and incest. And, you know, now as I read these poems from that time, I think, yeah, I was looking for that. They call it in somatic experience, for the resource. So this one is She Bends. Straddled on Longhouse Peak, stone split cedar shakes sag below my feet. Depressions and separations decay and rot. No sure footing. Paused near roof's edge, uncertainty teeters on the precipice of darkness. From a whispered prayer, her form emerges from the periphery. Her branched arms embrace fear with song. Cradled in red alder's aroma that cures our salmon, she bends to place earth below my feet.
Embrace fear with song. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And this is my book. And I read bits and pieces of this one Easter when I was with Leanne and Edward, and they said, you really need to pull together the pieces. And Edward said, I have some clients that would benefit. So I did. And this comes from I'm reading part of this second chapter. And the title is Going Out the Door Like the Full Moon. It's like that. There's this weight. I know that with love, everything works its way out, and eventually we see what the other is made of. We don't have to make anything happen because it will all unfold. Meditation and quietness in the fasting and sweat lodges have taught me that everything unfolds as it unfolds. The fasting lodge prompted me to unravel fear while fastened in at night by a long line of tobacco ties. When time and time again I was pressed to get up and sing to the darkness, to sing from the place where the ancestors procreate. It is a sacred place of blood red and charcoal black, and there are sparks of turquoise lichen yellow, and goat hair cream. It is a place of great stillness, where one faces fear with song. In love, everything unfolds, and you soon see the suffering in yourself and in the other. It can't be hidden. As much as I tried to make the fear of betrayal go away, it wouldn't listen to me until I began the journey of going into wanting to be wanted. And then I came to see it wasn't him. Not really. That isn't where my greatest fear lies. He has at times been the North Star guiding me on a dark night. He is more to me than what I really know. My mind is always ways of minimizing such things, not because I want to, but because of habit. My seeing shows that the delusion that arises from minimization protects me falsely. There's the illusion it creates, a shield or wall or some kind of film. Maybe it is more like slime than a film. But not this time. He has been with me and he knows the dirt roads of my childhood, knows my sitting under the hazelnut bushes peeling the prickly covering to get to the tiny soft nut. He's let me ride his back as he's flown up into the open skies, a blackfish pressing upward through the misty layers of veils and membranes. He's picked the sweet blueberries that grow wild on the hillside under the coniferous trees in the patches of sunshine. He means more to me than what my mind will say. He is a good friend. I won't cry as my father moves toward the front door. Instead, I attempt to find ways to make him stay home. What can I coax him with? I know that bribing won't work. So I ask him where he's going, and it makes him stop. Though he has already put on his black leather coat and laced up his shoes, he stands sideways to me, and there is some feeling that comes over him. Is it guilt? Yes, I think he feels guilt about his distraction. He's running again, not facing reality, not facing the years of violence, the years of sexing other women, while his wife paces the floors at night, afraid and angry. He's running again from the stomach-turning weight of the violence that residential school brought through the voice and hands of his mother, running again and again, and there is nothing I can do to stop him. Even though I've taken my heart from my throat and now have it extended and resting in the cup of my joined hands to give to him, to help him to stay. But he says he's going to London to see the Queen, or he says he's going for a haircut. And he walks out the front door. Always the front door. The full moon is leaving through the front door, except for the time he went out raging through the basement door as my mother was raising her voice at him, trying to get him to stay home, but that would never work. I'd seen that one happen before. He's going away even faster now, and I'm outside in the front yard listening to it all unroll like a stained, worn out carpet. He gets into the Pontiac Star Chief, and as he's in his hurry to get away, he realizes what he's done and stops at the top of the driveway. I go toward him because his head is hanging low with shame and guilt. He's frozen looking toward me as I go over to the driveway. I see there lying dead is one of my cat's kittens. It is part of my soul lying there, lifeless on the ground. I can't keep the tears back now. And that is when he gets into the car after saying something in a very soft voice, and he drives away. No, it isn't him. that makes this feeling rise up from a narrow, steep canyon inside my soul. It is wanting my father to want me, not want me to sex me, but want me to really want me. It is not only from the septic tank of skewed love that the want comes. It comes from the times when he was putting on his leather jacket to head out the door. I wanted him to face the pain and loss, the sorrow and shame, the weight of evil that was getting heavier. He couldn't seem to see that it was only getting heavier. Or maybe he did see. And that is why he sang those songs, strumming his electric guitar in the living room, the sound waves from the small Fender speaker making smooth the hurt. Some would be hymns and some would be country songs. Those times, especially when Mom would join him and they sang in harmony together, the songs from those moments lift me to the beaver pond. The sun is shining through the birch and alder leaves, a green that tells me there is a greater good. There is a greater good, and it surrounds me, holds me, and the whole world. The greater good tells me to keep going into it because hope stays with me. Yes, hope is beside me. And this time, she holds a small gray kitten and she hands it to me. She hands it to me and I finally hold the lifeless tiny body to my heart. And a wail deep in the canyon of forced forgetfulness finally comes out.
So powerful.
Whoa.
Wow.
My goodness.
So many beautiful